Okay, hey everyone, today's session is going to be on the roller. If you want a ball for your inner thighs, that might be useful. If you want weights for your hands when we get to the arm work, you might also like that. Otherwise, the roller itself is fine. And actually thinking we're going to start with a quad stretch here first. So we'll take the roller across the mat. This will be actually a massage. And we're moving into a plank on your forearms with the roller halfway down your thighs, so between your knees and the pelvic girdle. It's a little easier if your toes are pulled under. You can take some of the weight out of the quad here as you roll forward and back from your arms. So your legs are going to pull you forward. You're going to keep your belly lifted up and into your back. So you're maintaining the natural curves of your spine and not like sagging and dropping into your waist, right? Because that's going to not feel good into the lumbar curve. So you're going to go all the way right above the knees. We don't roll onto the joint itself, and you can go right over to the very top of the knee. And then you push off your arms and roll back. And right now the legs are oriented toes down. So you're really massaging the middle quad here. You might even walk yourself forward and back. Are you noticing some little tight spots? I am for sure. Yeah. And then from here, let's come back to the center again. And we're going to lower the feet and then rotate the legs externally. So you'll have the heels pulled in, the toes and the knees pointed out. And now as you go back and forth, you're rolling out the medial quad. Oh. So get your toes down, take some of the weight out of the leg. The arms can actively push down. We want to be suspended here in midair. And if you do find a spot that's really speaking to you, if you can stand it, go right up and down across that spot. If it's too intense, go above and below it, and then gradually work your way into the epicenter. Those are just like basic rules for working your massage on the roller, right? Now, I hate to tell you, we're switching to the internal rotation, and we're going up and down. So here you're going to hit the lateral quad. This is the one that usually, so toes point in, toes point out, knees point in. This will typically be a little bit more intense. If you just got here and you want to start with the legs in parallel first, you can do that and then get caught up. I know, it's almost like you want a towel to bite on, right? Yes. One more swipe. Okay. And then from here, we can go onto the shins. So this is done from a quadruped position. Spread your hands into the floor, and you'll bring the roller back along the shins. The white ones are softer, those darker ones might be pretty hard. So if you don't like it once you get onto it, go switch it out. There's others back there. And so you have the roller halfway down the lower leg. Maybe bring the hands a little bit more forward. And now we're pulling the knees towards the space between the wrists and then push the legs back, again, below the knees. So you roll back and forth here, and maybe even going across the ankle and across the top of the foot. You can feel this is really good for the shoulder girdle, right? You're maintaining a plank through your upper body. This exercise is very similar to what we do on the reformer. It's one of those that I use during lockdown for my clients stuck at home. We're missing some of the equipment. Most everyone has a roller, but most people do not have a reformer. And anyway, so after doing that, if you want, you can come forward. Now this really depends on how flexible you are across the ankle and the foot. So if it works for you, you're going to sit back on top of your foot If it's too much for either the knees or the foot, just come forward and go back as much as you can. Even here, having the toes elevated will give you that stretch across the top of the ankle. A lot of people are tight here. So if you are, that's just part of the deal. And then you can, if it works for your knees and if it works for the top of your foot, you can sit back on your heels. If you want, you can even take your hands into the roller, pick up your chest and do a little upper back extension. Or it's similar to like almost a camel, right, in yoga. Yeah. Just watch out, knees are the issue here. You want to be careful that that amount of deep fold feels fine. Sometimes people will take like a towel and roll it here to just sit back and have like support so they're not doing full closure of the knee joint there. And then you can also like walk your toes forward for more stretch across the top of the foot, or go back for less stretch across the top of the foot. Okay, so now that you've experienced that, we're going into the hamstrings. So we'll have a seat and then take the roll across like halfway down your thighs on the back of the leg. And shake out your hands and wrists because we're going to be using a little bit of a plank feeling here. So your hands go back behind you. And it depends. Pilates, typically we take the fingers away. In yoga, often I remember having the fingers point towards my hips. But we're going to push up. And if you need to have the arms, the fingers angled out, that's what it is. So we're going to slide back and forth. So go all the way up to the sits bones and then lift up and try to pull the tail towards the root behind you. So you're rolling along the full length of the hamstrings here from the sits bones attachment. Well, not the full length, to above the knee. Right now the legs are in parallel. And really as you pull back towards your hands, go up with the head, try to swing the tail back underneath you a little bit. So you get a feeling of lift. This is also going to be dependent on your proportions, right? Some people may take like a yoga block under each hand when they do this. If they tend to be long-waisted, that might be what they need. And now let's rotate slowly, heels in, toes out. And here we go, here we're going back and forth along the lateral hamstring. Massaging out the tissue here. Building some strength into the shoulder girdle. If you tend to be someone who hyperextends the elbows, please don't. Put a little softness there so you're working into the muscles and not overworking into the joint. And then when you're ready, we're going to rotate toes in, internal rotation through the thighs to go back and forth. And you may have to move the hands back and forth a little bit. Right, we've got more push than pull. So like I needed to pull my hands closer to my hips to get back into position. And of course, this feels a lot better, right, than it did on the quads. Okay, and then lower your hips down. Just stretch forward. Maybe this under your knees. Take a little dive here. Open up your back. And then as you stack up, you can shake out your hands and your wrists. We're next going under the calves. So this is going to be mainly under the bulk of the calf muscle. Don't worry so much about what comes down here on the Achilles tendon where it's very narrow. I mean, if you want to massage that out and it feels good, you can. It's just more load away from center. And the bulk of the muscle is up into here. So that's really where we get the most benefit. So again, find your hand position, spread your palm and fingers open onto the ground. Lift your hips up. And, oh, I'm too tight in. So you're going maybe above the ankle to below the knee. You probably have to, well, I have to move my hands to do that. And just press here, legs again in parallel. Now, if this is too much for you, right, you can just have one knee bent and then slide the leg forward and back like that. Right, that would be an option that actually gives you a nice opening here for the upper and the thigh. Let's go, if you're going back to the two legs again, Let's rotate the legs internally. See what happens when you go there. And then have a seat, and we'll go in the external rotation of your legs. So here it's a lateral tap. Okay, and then down. And now we're going to be on our stomachs, so prone. The roller's coming out to the side. We're sort of doing a figure four, like almost if you were standing, you'd be in a tree pose, right? So one leg will come out to the side like this, probably not touching the standing leg though, and then you're rolling the roller up and down the inside leg. So I'm gonna lay on my stomach and then have my left leg out because it's closer to the camera. So the roller is almost parallel to my body, maybe on a slight incline. And then you drape the knee over it, and then you push and pull towards the roller and away. And it's probably going to be most beneficial, this is for me, if I'm higher up rather than lower down. But you know, again, when you're working the massage with the roller, you just pay attention to where you feel really tight and where you need to release. So really, you're kind of moving sideways with your hips to get the massage along the inside line of your leg. Okay, and then we're going to the other side. Feels so good when it's done. Yes. And of course, we're sort of propped up on our elbows for this. Work up into the upper inner thigh or stay lower. See where your body meets the stretch or meets the opening. And you can always just stay in a particularly tight spot. Now I just found one just pretty much a couple inches above my knee. So just work it where you need it. All right. And then just come on off. Maybe just lay here. And then see how your legs feel. I would say more relaxed, maybe closer to the ground. Happy that we stopped rolling. All right, so then we're coming up. And I think next we'll do the sitting version of the knee sways here. So you're going to sit on the roller. And behind you. I go into a little bit of a pelvic tuck, right? So you're really between the sacrum and the sits bones with the tailbone curled up a bit and the waist sinking back into the spinal curve. And then you can go back and forth here, like go into the sacral area, but don't go above it. And then go back down along the length of your glutes. And just go back and forth here, just a little bit of rolling out into the glute area now. All right, and now let's cross the left leg over the right one. And then swing the knees over to your right. You could look left. Exhale, come back to center. Keep the same cross, left over right, and let's take the knees over to the left and look to your right. You can hang your head back, sort of a bit of an upper back extension, cervical and thoracic. And then exhale back to center. Do that again. Tip it over, look away. I always want to look at you guys. And then pull back to center, and here to the other side. Now we're going to rock again over to the right, stay there, and then cross cut, go up and down on that one glute. You can change the angle either a little bit deeper, like legs more parallel to the ground, or more towards the ceiling. See if you can find an area along the glute here, maybe over the piriformis, that needs a little release, and you push and you pull. This also becomes a really good way to open up your chest. And then we're bringing the knees back to center to the other side. Look away, and now we're trying to, again, find spots in the glute that need a release. It could be really at the lateral edge, it could be more at the medial edge along the side joints. And of course, when you do this on your own, you can just like pick and choose from these exercises and spend as much time as you need on one part of your body that's been sort of talking to you, right? And now we roll back to center, uncross, recross the legs, and now the right is over the left. And again, we'll bring the knees over to the right, target it to look left, hanging it back a little bit if that feels good for you. And exhale back to center. Inhale, the knees glide to your left, to look to the right, tipping the hip to really put the weight into that glute muscle onto the roller, and then through center again and over to the right. Look away. The more you rotate here, the more you'll feel like that pull diamond across the belly and the back, and then back to center. And again, over to the left, looking right. We come back to center, still right leg over left. Adjust the hands if you need that. Remember again, don't hyperextend your elbows here. And we go over to the right, and then rock up and down, like cross cut the glute now. It feels a little different, right? Depending on which leg you have on top. You can change the angle, see where you need the help. You can focus higher or lower, whatever you need. And then back to center, and now over to the left with the knees, to the right with the gaze. And again, cross cut, go up and down, massaging up the knees here. Okay, back to center, lower that down. And we haven't done the IT band area yet. This is the one that can be really tight. I know the quads can be a little difficult, but the thing I want to just impress on you is you're not going to go exactly on the IT band right along the side seam here of your leg, like of your leggings. You want to go a little in front of it and a little behind it, because you want to be on the muscle and not on that connective tissue that's so tight. It'll be more comfortable for you, and my teachers have told me that that's more effective. So we want to do that. So we're going to take this across. The bottom leg is straight, unless you really need to slacken the IT band. And you could bring the top foot in front. Now, I'm going to rotate a little back, so a little internal rotation. So I'm not exactly on the side seam, but I kind of feel that lateral hamstring. And then we're going to push and pull to go below the, not only the hip, but below the big bump here at the top of the femur. So you're below that bony point and then above the knee. So you go back and forth either on your hand or on your forearm. The other hand gives you some support, and you also get some support from the top leg bent in front of you. If it's too intense where you are, you can slightly bend the bottom leg, or you can just really put weight into your arms and the one leg that's helping support this. If you want more intensity in this, you would have the legs extended and floating up. Okay, so now we're going to take the foot down again and do a little external rotation. So now you're just in front of the IT band on the lateral quad. This one is typically the one that is the most intense, just so you know. Now you've discovered it for yourself, so I didn't really need to tell you. but we're going back and forth a few times along this line. I'm always torn. Sometimes in a class, I won't do this first. Everything else goes even better after that. But on the other hand, like doing the other muscles did sort of help release some of the tension here. Okay. Enough on that side. Yeah. And now we go to the other side. So you lift up. Remember, the bottom leg will be straight as much as you can manage. And the top leg in front. You can have a straight arm or be on your elbows. And then we're rotating the leg internally to go just behind the IT band onto the lateral hamstring, and then you push and pull. Now you can also do this, like if you're screaming inside, but not, I don't hear you yet. You can also do this with 2 rollers. Probably should have mentioned that earlier, right? And that will distribute the weight more so that you then would be more likely to do the exercise. And you don't need a full roller. Sometimes people get like a little half roller, like a short one, not one that's cut in half across the diameter of the circle. And now let's go externally rotate and come a little bit to the lateral quad and push pull from here. Try to crawl along the ground so you get the full length of that thigh. Just going to do one more pass. Of course, you stop if you need to. And then let's have a seat. And it's a workout, right, through the upper body as well. Okay, good. So I owe you. So now let's do the shoulders. Let's take it across under the scapula. Lean back here. Maybe tip of the blades or so, hips are grounded. Let's keep hips down, knees bent. Support your head with your hands. And we just start inhaling to arch back, look behind you. Get extension through your spine. Exhale, chin to chest. Use the hands to help you lift. Pull the elbows together and in. You suck the belly back into your spinal curve. And then we arch. The tail goes down as the heart rises and the hip falls behind you. Let the elbows wing open towards the floor. Exhale, chin to chest. Pull the elbows together and down. Inhale your navel as you round the back, tailbone lifted. Good. Going into the extension. In Pilates, typically we inhale into extension and then exhale into flexion. And you can always adjust the positioning of your roller, right? If it's too extreme of an arch, move the roller closer to your shoulders. If it's not enough extension, take the roller a little closer towards your waist. Just be sure you're still in the rib cage so that you're pressing into the bony support of the ribs and not pressing into your kidneys. So one more, arch to go back. Exhale, lift to come into flexion. All right, now here, still supporting your head with your hands, we're going to lift the hips up and then roll along the full length of the thoracic spine, which is where the ribs are. And as you come away from your feet, you're lifting into an upper curl, into flexion. And as you pull the knees forward and move your hips forward towards your heels, you're dropping the head and lifting the hips up. So you're working the back line of your body as you massage out the upper back. So this flexion extension, you don't have to do it. You could stay in a plank while you go back and forth, but this flexion extension is going to give you more pressure into the back and the shoulders. Just don't roll onto your neck. You push away from your feet, remember your inflection, that's really good. And as you pull towards your feet, you're in extension. And then we'll come back to center, lower the hips down, I'm going to move a little bit more onto screen. The tendency is to push further back across your mat. Again, we've got more push than pull. So then we'll lay back again. Come through the center of the ribs and support the head. Lift your hips up. Twist to one side. I'm going to twist to the left so I can see you. And push up and down. So here, just along the scapula, the shoulder blade here. So it's only like a 5 to 7 inch rocking action. You literally have the right rib cage off the roller. And then we'll come center and I'll twist the other side to my right. If this is too intense, again, you can ease out of the angle of connection, or you could put some padding between you and the roller, like maybe hold the tap. And then back to center. Lower the hips down. Slide forward, rest your neck on the roller. The feet apart the width of your mat, your knees knock in. Your hands hold the roller. Just let the head and the neck drape around the curve, and you can even close your eyes as you slowly turn your head to the right, back to center, and then to the left. Get a little release here by massaging the occipital ridge, sort of the lower part of the skull, and getting the rotation through your neck. So the shoulder blades stay relaxed and heavy. The plates of the blades drop into the ground. And we could change this by either pulling the chin closer to your chest or higher away from your chest. So then you can go side to side with your head, nice and slow, nice and smooth, and find a different angle of approach, of connection, of release. If you hit a little snag here in the fascia, the connective tissue, just do a little micro movement. Back and forth, nice and slow. Think of your body getting heavier right where you're connecting to the roller. I want you to just take a minute to roll out where you feel you need some help. You can also nod the chin up and down. As you go from one side to the other, across the center. Okay, and then we're coming on top to lay on our side. This is a full body rotation. So we'll take the roller on a slight diagonal. So it's going to be higher towards your face and lower towards your hips. Most of the roller will be behind your armpit where you fit in across the roller. So you lay down, you kind of snuggle the armpit around the roller. And then the knees are bent, legs are stacked, heels in line with your tail, and both hands again support the base of the skull. So we're going to exhale, tip the chin to the chest, pull the top elbow down, embrace the roller here, and feel the stretch, the space between your blades increasing behind you. And then we'll bring the gaze forward across the floor, up to the ceiling, roll back across the shoulder blade. Now, so I'm rotating to my right, so my left elbow is going to lift a little bit so I get the right shoulder blade down. And then you can hang back in a bit of extension with this rotation, as long as your hands are supporting your skull. The top leg may fall back a little bit. Try to just keep the bottom leg grounded. And the top knee slides back, but keep it low. Now to come up, we're going to leave the head and the chest here. Pull your top knee forward, pull your hip forward. Then when your hips are about stacked, think of rotating from the tail up the spine. Exhale to pull the rib cage around, bottom to top. And then you hug the roller, maybe tucking the chin in towards your chest. And we're taking it back again. Adjust the roller if you need it, either a different angle under your scapula or more space behind you to roll onto. The gaze brings you around, so first the head, the neck, the upper back, the mid back, maybe the hips fall back, maybe the knee falls back. Fall into extension with this rotation. And then you can lift the head a little bit, use your arms, use your hands. if it's too much extension through the neck, but we start the movement forward, not from the head and the elbows, but from the knee, from the hip. Feel those low obliques working, and then slowly roll forward, around, and over to embrace the roller here. Your head tucks down, maybe forehead to the roller as you hug the roller now. We'll do one more. Look across the floor, up the wall to the ceiling, and across the ceiling to the wall behind you. You can see the wall behind you here as your head hangs back into space. And then forward knee, hip, tailbone spins between the two pelvic halves. Work up your spine. Exhale. Bring the whole rib cage around and down. Embrace the roller like so. And then we're coming up to do the other side. You can just turn over. I still want to see this. So again, remember the roller is higher by your face, lower towards your hips. Most of it behind you. And then you start with your hands supporting your head, legs stacked, heels in line with your tailbone. And we look down and we embrace the roller here. So that stretch widening across the upper back, the upper rib cage. And then look forward, start spinning back. The head, then the neck, move the torso back from the top to the tail. You can pick up your bottom elbow so you can get all the way back and feel both shoulder blades grounded on your roller. Try to drop your head and spread the arms open here. And then we're starting knee, hip, waist, work up your spine, exhale, come all the way around and hug the roller. And then we can do this again. Bring your gaze across the ground, up the wall to the ceiling. Pull back for the support of the roller. Eventually, we'd like to think that the hips are stacked parallel to the wall and the chest is open parallel to the ceiling. And if you keep practicing this, that can happen. So come all the way around, which is like great for rotational sports, you know, tennis, squash, golf. Also good for being able to turn when you're driving to see behind you, right? Take it back. Here. Open the body, let the head be heavy in your hands. Knee then hip. Pull yourself all the way forward and around. Working from the bottom to the top. And then we can come on off of this. How's your body feeling so far? I know, right? Relax. I mean, you know you're working hard to do this correctly, but it still feels like amazing, right? Particularly once we stopped massaging out the quads and the AT band. All right, so here we go. We're going to take the roller under our sacrum, under our hips like that. Bridge up. Roller right across your sacrum to the widest part of the hips. And you can hold onto the roller to prevent it from moving. And we pull one knee in, then the other. Lift both legs up for our scissor splits. So right leg back, left leg forward. With the stretch in the hamstring, reach out long. And then let's inhale to switch the legs. And exhale to switch again. So really watch the tracking of your legs here. You don't want the legs to be pulled out sideways, which will often happen if you're a little tight on the outer leg, you know, that IT band, or just your lateral quads. And you stretch, let your toes float to the air. Feel a little breeze between them. So even though the foot is pointed, you're not gripping with your toes. It's a really good way to get cramps in your feet. And it's just unnecessary to use that much effort, right? As soon as you overwork the effort, you increase tension and then you decrease flexibility and mobility. All right, now we're going to bring both legs up to the sky and externally rotate the legs. And now do a little side split, both legs apart. Exhale, both legs together. Try to put your focus on the upper outer thigh, pulling the legs apart, and then the upper inner thigh, pulling the legs together. which is a whole different feeling than working from your feet. Inhale, open, exhale, and then close. Just do one more like this. The legs pull apart slowly. And then they lift slowly too, so you're trying to stay out of momentum on the lift. Now the left leg is vertical, and both legs still in rotation. Take the right leg out to the side and press down into the left hip. Exhale and pull the leg up, take your time. Bring it up. You're going to feel the weight as you drag the leg up to the ceiling. Now the right leg is stable, the left leg moves sideways. You're just dropping it into gravity. And then you're not just throwing it up with momentum, you're going to push through the arms, which is the opposite one. Get a little more connected into your core. And then the right leg goes out to the side, draw a beautiful arc sideways in the air. Exhale. You are still sort of holding the roller under you, towards you, so that it doesn't slip out past your hips into the space beyond. And then let's pull the leg up. One last set here. So draw that arc, go down the rainbow with the right foot. So you've increased your range any. Doing that here, and then you lift it. And of course, you're working to keep the right leg vertical as the left leg is sideways out and down. And then exhale, pull here, upper inner thigh, feel the weight of the leg, almost like it's dead weight. Good, and now scissors, right leg back, left leg forward. Rotation, we start with legs out to the side in opposite directions. Back to the scissor split, and then reverse. You can imagine holding a large inflatable ball here between your 2 feet, between your ankles. And then just spin the ball in circles right over the pelvic floor. You're rotating each leg on its socket as you go around that imaginary ball here. Inhaling in one direction and then exhaling the other. Keep the arms engaged to hold the roller in position. When we end this, when you have even the movement out, you can bring both legs up to the ceiling, bend the knees in towards your chest, and then probably let's lower the feet down, lift the hips a little bit, reestablish the roller, maybe turn it so you're now resting on a different spot. That's good for the longevity of the roller. And now we're going into bicycle. So pull the right leg up, exhale, pull the left leg to meet it. The right leg extends, and we press it forward and down. Try to tap the toes to the ground. The other leg is lifting and reaching forward as the right leg pulls in. On the Pilates equipment on the Cadillac, we do this with leg springs in a little bit of turnout. But here we can do this in parallel. And really reach out long as you pull the other leg in tight. And then also focus on extending the leg that's coming in, up and back, so you feel a little bit of a hamstring stretch there too. And then we're going to pause and reverse back pedal. Stay the leg forward, lift it up high. Get your toes to touch the floor and then spin forward before you pull the leg up. Hopefully that leg is straight. We're going to get the kick back over the chest to feel the leg in the back of your leg. And we'll complete with both legs up at the ceiling. Bend your knees, inhale and exhale, lower the feet down. All right, so now from here, extend the right leg forward, the right arm back, stretch out that right side, hip extension plus shoulder extension. Just feel the back of the body, particularly on the right side, melting towards the floor here as you breathe. Inhale for leg. Exhale for weight. Right. So as you inhale, think of reaching the fingertips and the right foot away from each other. And as you exhale, just let the back of the body melt towards the ground. One more breath here. And then we can bring the hand back, the right hand back to the roller, the right leg slides in, and then extend the left leg, the left arm, and let gravity do some of this work for you. You can focus, however, on the inhale, lengthening the body, and your exhale, releasing the body towards the floor. Obviously, you want your roller in the right place, so it's a comfortable extension through your hip. If it's too much for you, of course, bend the knee a little bit or a lot. You want to be sure that this, serves you today and doesn't put you in a place where you're uncomfortable or sort of worried about what it's doing to your spine. The right knee, the one that's lifted and bent towards the ceiling, that should be really vertical. Don't let it fall out to the side. Sometimes that'll happen because you let go of the balance on the inside and outside thigh muscles. There's where you're feeling the stretch here. And then we'll take the right leg forward too, only if that works for your back. If it doesn't, you can just repeat, the other arm goes back, right? You can also bend the knees if you need to take some of the arch out of your spine. Or of course, check the position of the roller across under your hips. It's okay if you want the legs to rotate a little externally, like open to the side. And just one more deep full breath in. Exhale, sigh it out. Open the mouth, just breathe out. And then we'll pull the legs in one at a time. The arms forward, one at a time. And press through your feet, lift hips up. Just slide the roller forward. And then let's take it out. And we're going to, I think, go into a roll up. So here, let's bring the roller forward. And it goes underneath the legs, right above the heel. Legs are apart. Check that you still have that behind you. And then we can even begin to slide the arms forward down your legs. Just suck the weight back. Feel that stretch in the back line of the body. Knees can bend if necessary. Just still feel the hamstring stretch. And then try to push the roller away, roll back. The arms can lift. You curve the tail up, you roll the low back, the mid back, the upper back into the floor, and then reach the arms behind you without overarching the rib cage. Bringing the arms up, start to drop the shoulder blades, lift the head, neck. Exhale to pick up the rib cage. Dive forward, rounding the back as you come forward and over. Feel that stretch through the whole back line. And then we start to curve the tail up. You're rotating the pelvic girdle on the femurs, and we roll back. Again, you can lower the arms if you need that for control. Yes, that looks beautiful. Everyone making really good choices here. The arms stretch back, and then bring the arms forward. Lift the head, the neck, the chest. Exhale, come up. This is good. I can tell how long you all have been practicing because you're able to do this. This is much harder to do a roll up with the feet elevated, right? I know you feel it. So do I. And we come down. Try to notice if you have a stronger side. Try to think about the side that isn't quite as active, isn't quite as strong, working harder on this last lift. Hold here. And then suck the waist back as you dive forward. Stack the spine all the way up, your hands can slide along your legs. Take your hands at your side. And we're going to take the right leg out in sort of a figure four. So the edge of the foot is on the mat. The knee fall opens. If your leg is pretty high here, you could always take a ball or a towel and place it under part of the thigh or the knee so that you'll be able to like really open up and rest there. Yeah. I'll probably have to do that on my left side. So now sit up, you can have your fists to the ground. Push down, lift the chest, upper back extension like swan. Exhale back to center, and then we can dive the hands along the leg Going in a slight diagonal with your body over the knee. And here, let the right knee just fall open into gravity, let it stretch and release to the side. And then we stack the spine up. You can slide the hands along the leg to help you guide the body up, bottom to top. Then hands at your side, fist down. Look straight ahead. Push the chest up as you push the butt down. The blades fall behind you. Maybe the elbows pull back together and in. And then release to neutral, look at the horizon, and then tilt your body slightly to the right leg, and you dive over it. So let's stretch. Suck the waist back, and then articulate up. Up your leg, fist to the floor, up rises. Back to center, and we'll do one more here. Notice how your back is feeling more flexible. You can always bend this left knee a little bit if you need to, right? If you need that payout for the hamstrings. And then come upright. One more arch. Center, then lift. Shoulder blades fall behind you to the tail, and you come out of it. And then we unwind to switch. And now the right Achilles is on top of the floor, and the left leg is out to the side. Try to work for equal weight into sits bones. And then we again start with the arch, because we all need to stretch the abs. We all need to lift the heart, counteracting our, unfortunately, often normal slump posture, and then diving over. Roll the back here. And then flow to come up. Hands at your side. Arch here, looking straight ahead. And then looking up towards the sky. Back to center. Look down. Angle your body slightly over that right leg, and then stretch forward. Reach out as far as you can without losing the control of the scapula, right? You don't want the shoulders up like the ears. You want to still have a nice long neck. And then flow back up. Stack your spine bottom to top. Your hands come to your side. You push down to lift the chest. Elbows can bend, heart can rise. Exhale to neutral. And let's take it over again. Try not to hold that left knee up, but let it fall towards the ground. And then you stack the spine bottom to top. Hands down. Just lifts. Maybe pull the elbows back and in towards each other so the blades drop in towards the tailbone. And then release one out. All right, so here we're going to cross up the ankles. Or have them sort of like overlapping, like so. And again, you could use a couple of balls. Do you want to grab another one? So if you need something under your knees to help open this up. So we're starting with the hands here on the roller. This is like spine stretch. Press lightly down. Again, find your best posture. Look down, and then as you dive forward, you're just letting the roller roll up over your wrist towards your elbows. And then stack the spine and lift to pull up. It's good. We're doing it again. So look down, round over. And then leads the spine forward in an arc and a curve. And then you pull back. Lift the body up to come up and sit right up on your sits bones. One more here. You can stretch the lats, and then you pull everything back as you go. Okay, recross the ankles. Sure, I definitely have a preference. Yeah, if you need to straighten the legs for a second, shake them out. That's also good. And then whenever you're ready, we start that spine stretch again. So eyes to the horizon, look down. With the weight of the head, pull the neck forward, then the upper back, the mid back, the low back, and round over here. Stabbing. So at some point, for some of us, right, it's more of a hip stretch than it is a spinal stretch, and then you come on up. And look down. Curve the body here, stretch it out. Press lightly down through the arms as you stack your body upright. Even you can massage into the hand, the palm of the hand and the fingers. Let's do one more. You're not really pushing the roller away, you're just moving the spine and the arms are carried here because of the movement forward of your head and spine. And then flow back up. Go for it. Good. All right, so let's unwind, go onto our stomach for a little swan on the roller, a little bit more extension here. And then you bring the roller halfway down the forearms, so between elbows and wrists. Put your head off the ground. Pull the scapula back, pull the heart and chest up, eyes lift. And then you're zipping your belly into the mat as you release down, the roller moves away from you. So you can use your lats to pull the shoulder blades down towards your tail. You bring your heart forward, you look up the wall in front of you. You come up into your swan. The girl is still pressing into the ground. And then we go down. Focus is on that upper back extension. And the longer you make the front line, the more you pull forward, the more the transverse abdominis knits together to hold your back safe. And then release it down here. Come down slowly. And then we're going to sit back in a child's pose, bring the roller with you. And again, if this is tough on your knees, you could always, number one, be sure that your feet are in line with the knees. And you may want to place something between your calf and your thigh. So you hang your head down. And here we're sliding the shoulders up by the ears. Then we'll roll the roller forward, feel the stretch in the lat and the armpit, and then pull the shoulder blades down your back. So the head is staying exactly where it is. If you're not sure, sometimes a good thing to do is put your head on the yoga block here. Or if you could do it, your head hangs all the way down. And then you pull the scapula forward and back. So you're not moving your spine, you're not moving your head, you're moving the arm chain, the shoulder girdle. The shoulder blades coming up by your ears and then down towards your hips. And then stack your spine to come on up. All right. Good work. So let's do hot dog and then a little bit of release through the chest, ending as we normally start, laying on the roller down your spine. So, but for hot dog, you lay on your back. This is gonna be a little core work. Not that what you could do positive, right? So you bring the tabletop, you place the roller between your arches and between your knees. You can come to your upper curl, supporting the head with your hands, and then looking below the roller, try to stretch the roller out. Picture it floating parallel to the ground. Squeeze the roller, exhale, and pull it back in. Try to pick up your head. Try to lift it higher than the roller, which isn't going to happen for me, but at least I'm trying, right? So I want the feeling of length and not collapsing back into my shoulders. So inhale to push it away. You can feel work, deeper engagement in the abs as you try to hold the pelvis steady and level here on the mat. We know that the work is really being done by the psoas, the deep hip flexors, but where you typically are aware of it is your abdominal wall. Hug the roller. Yeah, if you can really work through the inner thighs, you'll get more support through the low transverse abdominal muscle. So press, reach out here. Exhale and pull it on back. Let's rest down. And then we can come up to sitting. And then come up to sit on the roller. Take it lengthways down your spine. Here, if you want to use the ball between your thighs, if you want to use weights in your hands, you can. And then as we roll back, be sure you've got enough support for your skull, enough support for your tailbone, and arms can open, rock a little back and forth. Your reward for doing all those crazy things. And then once we center, we lift the arms up, do the big embrace over your chest, exhale, pull the arms out and down, opening the pecs again. Arms rise on the inhale. Exhale and release down. And just do one more like this. As you lower the arms, so the blades hug the roller. Lift your arms up, point the fingers to the ceiling. Exhale, let the shoulders fall. Inhale. Protraction, you lift the head, you lift the scapula. Exhale, retraction, the blades melt to the ground, the arms follow. Inhale, arms rise. Shrug the shoulders up off the roller. It's a little harder to balance. The narrower the feet are, the easier it is. The wider the feet are, the more support you'll feel. Up, the pecs narrow, sink down, the chest broadens. One more like that. Liberalizing the shoulder blade on top of the roller. Turn the palms forward, now lengthen the arms down. We inhale to lift the arms in unison and parallel up, and then exhale, take them back by your ears. Bring the arms forward, and exhale all the way forward and down. Lift the arms now, and exhale, and press back, reach. Arms forward, and exhale, lengthen them, lower them all the way towards your heels. The arms rise again on the inhale and sink back on the exhale. Ribs are grounded, we bring the arms forward and exhale all the way down. Then bring your hands to your shoulders, the elbows pull in, circle the elbows up, out wide, around, down and in. Breathing here, one circle per breath. Short inhale, lift, and exhale all the way around. Do one more of these in this direction. Complete the circle, let's reverse. Going back and wide, up, forward, down, and in. So blink here, nice and easy, nice and smooth. Two more. While the blades are moving underneath you, you're pressing different parts of the scapula into the roller through your own scapular massage. And then we'll extend the arms forward, reach long through the fingertips, arms up and back by your ears. Exhale, circle wide, around and forward. Palms down, you lift the arms up and press back. Exhale, stretch out long, reach through every single fingertip, spread within the palms. Palms down, reach again. And exhale, forward and around. From here, reverse. Palms up to circle wide, lift the arms as they go past your shoulders. Exhale, push the arms forward and down, pump the air out of your lungs. Palms up to reach back, big circle in the air. Exhale, dive it forward now. And one last one here. Forward and down. Okay, and then you can just rest on the roller. I have to go, but this has been lovely doing this class with you. I hope you enjoyed it. And also feel the benefit of the work we did too. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you everyone for taking the class.